What is up, guys? Actually picked up a lot of vintage in the last couple months as well. Gonna run through those, the few pickups that I had. Like I said, I'm gonna start slowing down. I'm actually telling myself I'm slowing down. Had some really cool pickups. Um, really enjoying being back in the hobby with you guys. The goal is to maybe do some card shows in the future if everything goes okay. So to see how that goes, but really enjoying, you know, being back in the hobby. This first pickup was before the first of the year, so it was December 2025, and this was actually a Facebook Marketplace find. You know, those just listed Facebook Marketplace finds are awesome, right? These three cards were advertised for $50 each. Three common players from T206. What's significant about these is they're all three polar bear backs, and they're in horrible shape. But the polar bear backs are significantly more rare. The regular backs, they're in the PSA Pop Report has them in the hundreds. From what I've seen, the polar bears are usually 20 to 30 copies. There's a few that are a little bit less than 20, but for the most part, there are not a ton of polar bear backs graded. Just to give you an idea, like I said, definitely love the eye appeal. You can see the players' names, the team they played for, and their faces, which is always cool to have that. There is some paper loss. I think they were probably glued into a album. That's O'Neal, and he played for Minneapolis. I did a little research on these guys. Carr from Minneapolis. They all had decent, 5 to 10 year careers, but not Hall of Fame. And that is Moeller from Jersey City. $50, you can't be like $16, $18 an average. These I don't know what these go for, but just cool to have them in my PC for $50. Nothing crazy. Next lot, bought this. This is a Facebook Marketplace. No, not Facebook Marketplace. This is a Facebook deal. These next two, found these in like a little fire sale. This one's cool. Billy Herman, 1964. Yeah, is that 64? No, sorry, 66 tops on card pin auto. He's a Hall of Famer. Had like 2,500 hits as a Major League Baseball player, and then went on to manage a couple years. So he is a Hall of Famer. Not a lot of people, not a lot of recognition, but he is a baseball MLB Hall of Famer. Not a ton of autos either from him, but this is a mint 9 on the card, and I think I paid like $30 for this, so pretty cheap. But it's not just a high dollar card, but still really cool. Oh, sorry. Same sale. Paid $20 for this one. The 61s are a little bit rarer than the 60s. Cap Anson, look, do some research on this guy if you haven't. Cap Anson was one of the early all-time greats. Do some research on Cap Anson. He was pre 20th century, so he was the guy back in the 1800s and early 1900s. But Cap Anson, PSA 7, $20, can't beat it. Cannot beat it. All right, so here is another Facebook. No, this was actually eBay. So there was a guy on Facebook that had an auction of this card rare, and it got up into like the hundreds. So I was like, I don't know much about these cards because they are a little bit rare. But I've done my research since, and I really like it. And that's O-Pee-Chee from baseball. O-Pee-Chee started producing baseball cards in 1965. They've had the contract years before that, but they actually started producing the Topps variant with O-Pee-Chee in 1965 and ran, off and on until the 80s and 90s. And, he had the Bonds, O-Pee-Chees, and I think maybe the late 80s stopped it, or maybe kept going. I don't know. But it started in 1965 in Canada. Canada started producing their own Topps variation of Peaches. And I saw this one. This card that went for like 140, 150 on Facebook raw. This copy's not as good, but PSA 2 I paid, I think it was $100 shipped to me, taxes and all. I hate that eBay charges taxes. Oh my gosh, a couple years ago it was so nice. But still, this is a pretty cool card. It displays well. It's not perfect, but it's a authentic 1968 Hank Aaron O-Pee-Chee SGC2. Can't beat it for $2. And like I said, look at the pop on these. The O-Pee-Chees are tough. They haven't hit their peak yet. I know the Topps Venezuelas are really rare, but those O-Pee-Chees are pretty rare. Look up the pop reports on those cards. There's not very many of those. It's insane that You can get really good deals on O-Pee-Chees. A lot of times, just a little about the same price, if not a little bit cheaper, a little bit more expensive. I mean, but it's insane. It's asinine the difference in the pop reports between the tops and the O-Pee-Chees. Look into that. If you're about value like I am and still getting something cool you like, O-Pee-Chees the way to go. So bought a couple from this seller. Some cool cards. I'm trying to think. The other one hasn't made it yet, so still waiting on that one. But don't even get me started on USPS lately with the ice storms and the weather. I'm not even gonna talk about it, guys. So this is trimmed. It's 19. What is this? Is this the 58? No, this is 64, 63 or 64. Maybe 60. Maybe I think it's 64. Don't get me a line. But either way, it's Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. One side, this side right here is trimmed pretty bad. Looks like somebody hacked it with a scissor. Sharp corners, beautiful card, beautiful eye appeal, great color. Probably would have been a PSA 6, but it's trimmed, so and it's obvious trim. Like it's not a close trim. It's the card's been hacked. Paid $70 for this. These cards are not cheap. These cards with the dual Hall of Famers on are starting to get appreciated. Found this in a collection that was Barry Bonds heavy. I needed to do another video on. Found this in a collection with that. It was really crazy because there were 2 vintage cards, and this is one of them. Super clean 58 tops. Stan the Man All-Star. Beautiful card. And like I said, when we went through the collection, he didn't know I was in there, and I didn't either, because it was buried in a box with some 1990 commons. But Stan the Man Musial, beautiful copy. I did some trading on this. I traded a couple pews for the collection that I already had. But look at that, just come on, man. So that was a free, because like I said, we didn't have that built in the value. That was really cool. Bought this from a local person on Facebook Marketplace, and it's my first ever high series 1952 tops. I've never owned a 52 tops high series card, much less the Mantle. But not bad. Bobby Morgan rookie card. Played for the Dodgers. Had played for a few years, but definitely wasn't the guy that I'm sure he thought he was going to be. But he lived for a very long time as well. He lived to be almost 90-something years old, so do a little research on him. But first high number, it's number 355. These are quite valuable. They're a couple $100. This is probably a 2. No creasing. A little bit of paper loss on the bottom right here. But probably a PSA 2 candidate if I had to guess. Probably won't get it graded. I don't know. That's a card. That's a cool card. That's a high number. So. Maybe SGC. Let me see this next lot. Yep. Next lot. We're at 8 minutes. Next lot was a Facebook Marketplace lot. Them card groups on Facebook Marketplace are addictive. Very addictive. I would recommend, if you don't have the budget or your wife is on you about your finances, please don't get on Facebook Marketplace on these card groups, because you will spend a lot of money. So 5 card lot. 33 Gowdy Baxter Jordan, really clean, good eye appeal. Back is beautiful as well. He had a decent career, but not a Hall of Famer. James Sewell, he had a good career as well. That's got writing on it, but really cool. This guy's Ellis Dahlgren. Once again, got writing on it, but still really cool. I think it's a 1940 play ball. And play balls are lower on the rare side. Now this one is super clean. This is a John Francis Wilson. I looked him up. He did some coaching too. Was a Red Sox player. Beautiful card. And the last one, just gorgeous. Walter George Brown for the Giants. I think he got into coaching too. So, beautiful cards. Paid $70 ship for those. So, in my opinion, for those cards that don't pop up a lot, $7 shipped. And there was I caught it with the guy just listed 3 minutes before, and within a couple minutes there were 3 or 4 people saying next. So you got your value added when there's 3 or 4 people after you going next, great pickup. So I'm like, okay, thank God, because $70 for a common lot, but 30 regalities are sick. That Baxter Jordan is sick, and I owned that before. Moving on, alrighty. So, got these two together from a seller that was kind of getting out, and he was like, I'm really particular about what I collect, but these two are packaged a lot. Paid $250 for these. I think I got a decent deal. First one didn't have this Babe Ruth and Gehrig. I think Lou Gehrig died not very long after that. It was Lou Gehrig Day. These two did not have a great relationship, from what I understand, through contractual agreements. They just did not have a good working career together, but they did make up and were friends towards the end of Gehrig's life. So that was really cool. Read that story. It's a history lesson. Like, baseball cards become a history lesson, essentially, if you really appreciate it. And this last one was a pretty good deal. Probably a PSA 2.5. These cards sell for about $300. It's a Mickey Mantle 1962 Topps, number 200. These cards with those brown borders are just so super sensitive. This one's got 2 or 3 sharp corners, but just no creases. I mean, excellent color. Look at the Mick, man. He's staring. No telling where he's staring. Probably staring off, and maybe had a booze or two in him. And Mickey back in the day played fun, played loose, but a little off center, left to right. But definitely a beautiful card. And I'm at that point now. All Mickeys need to be graded. All Mickeys need to be graded. It's at that point. Moving on. This is another one. Another one we talked about a minute ago. O-Pee-Chee. This is 1967. $100. These are like low pop compared to the Topps version. Does have some writing. Probably PSA 1. No major creasing. Well, there is. There's creasing. But still, an 1967 O-Pee-Chee Mickey Mantle, number 150. There was a comment made by a buyer. Man, that card wouldn't get but $50 at a card show. And I messaged the son. I was like, this guy does realize this is a O-Pee-Chee version, right? You're not going to get a 1967 number 150 O-Pee-Chee made in Canada now, printed in Canada, for $50 at a card show. I've seen beat up, like the corners tore off of Mickey Mantle's going for $75-$80. So just a buyer trying to just get any kind of deal they can. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm glad I picked that one up pretty quick. I picked that one up within probably 5-10 minutes as well. So almost done. So next lot, there were 6 cards in this lot. This seller was actually selling for his father-in-law. Father-in-law had about 50 to 100 cards, and these were the last of the Hall of Famers. He had sold, I think, a Stan Musial from 1951, beautiful card. I think that went for $400 or $500. He sold a couple Mickey Mantles, but this was the last of the Hall of Famers. He has a bunch of semi-stars and commons left. There is one common in here, but you'll see why I bought it. But got a Monty Irvin 1954 Topps. Gorgeous card of Monty Irvin, Hall of Famer. Should get a little bit more respect. He does get a lot of respect, don't get me wrong, but he come in with Jackie. And he's a trailblazer. So, next one. 1951 Bowman. Slaughter, I think he had a run-in with Jackie. So we go from Trailblazers to, Slaughter, Hall of Famer, had a good career. A lot of it's been, a lot of the things that have been said by him has been contradicted by himself and his family. But nonetheless, Hall of Famer, Slaughter from 51, beautiful appeal. Next one, Yankees legend and Hall of Famer, 1954 Topps, Phil Rizzuto. Beautiful card, guys. There's a corner that left. That corner but they're not perfect. But paid $160 ship for this lot. I just don't think you can beat it for that price with these conditions. You don't see them much. Next card, this may be the best looking one of all. 1954 Topps, Richie Ashburn. My modern era comparison would be like a Scott Rowland. Had a good career, could have been a little bit better, but still a Hall of Famer nonetheless. Richie Ashburn, just gorgeous. This, I mean, this is a PSA 5, PSA 6 candidate. No creasing, corners are sharp, crisp. Ashburn doesn't have a big market, but you know, people, if it's a PSA 6 of a Hall of Famer, you're going to get a bid. Next, beautiful Johnny. What's that? His name was like Big. I can't remember. Big John maybe. But this one, beautiful 53 tops. It does have a little bit of a corner surface crease. It doesn't go all the way through, but that kind of takes away from the grade. Maybe a PSA 2 or 3. If I grade it, which I probably won't. But it does not go through the back. The crease does not go through the back. Beautiful card. Great color. Gosh, that's gorgeous. You don't see many like that, man. And lastly, this card was $20. 1952 tops. Joe Garriola. He was a catcher. I think he was All-Star 1 year out of his career. Had less than 800 hits. He's not a Hall of Famer. He actually had more success as an announcer later in his life and was on some TV shows. He's a media personality. But look at that card, man. Centered. Crispy. It's got one little surface crease on the front. Or that card would have been a trail. That'd have been a 6 or 7. Oh my. Did I just say 6, 7? Damn it, these damn kids. Well, anyway, beautiful 52 tops. Catcher. Joe, I might even say his name right, Joe Garriola. So the last card got from a friend of mine that I got the 68 Topps Brock auto from that was super clean. He's got a few more cards I'm looking. He's actually selling it for a friend of his collection for a friend of his, older guy that doesn't have social media or anything. So I've been picking up a few pieces. Paid $225 for this. Once again, I've heard the name of this pitcher, and I knew he was Dominican and he was Dominican dandy. But do some research if you're not familiar with Juan Marichal, which I was, but didn't know the extent. If Bob Gibson and Koufax weren't in their primes, this guy actually outperformed them. This guy was the early 60s beast mode. Longevity. He'd go full games like it wasn't nothing. And he pitched longer than Koufax. And they said if Koufax and Bob Gibson would not have been playing ball, this guy would have won multiple Cy Youngs year after year after year after year. So, sorry, I've been coaching. My nails are bad. I've been coaching softball. Ball season is upon us. But beautiful auto. Auto's going to be a good grade. The corners aren't perfect on this one, but it's still pretty clean. What is that? A 3 or 4 maybe on the card. The auto, I think, has got to be a 10. There's no breaks, no slips. Beautiful card. That's a rookie 1961 Topps Juan Marichal. Once again, if you have not done your research on Juan Marichal, he had a unorthodox high kick, and he was a beast. He threw a no-hitter or 2 in his career, went full games. He went toe-to-toe with, I think it was not Whitey Ford, it was Warren Spahn. They went like 16 innings, and towards the end of Warren Spahn's career, look that up. He refused to come out of the game. He told the coach, look, if that guy over there's 40 years old talking about Warren Spahn, and I'm a young man, I'm not coming out of this game. End up outdoing Spahn, 16 innings. So just, look up the Dominican dandy. You're going to see something insane. He is highly regarded. I will say this. He's always in the top 20 of greatest pitchers of all time. So he's not unregarded. And there's been a lot of crazy pitchers, but he, for the Giants, I know Chrissy Matthews was a Giant, but Juan Marichal, and I paid $225 ship for this one. So I'm going to definitely send this in the PSA. I don't like having autos on slabs, so that one's got to be that. I'm going to pay the $50 to $100 to send that one in. But that's a keeper. That's a cool card. So that's all I've got vintage-wise. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope I was able to show you a little bit about my collection, about what I like. I enjoy watching all your guys' videos. And until next time, peace.